Well, here's the head. Just now got all the valves in. Work on it for yesterday, today. Finally got them all cleaned up, installed. That's all ready to go. Well, we got the primer paint on the block. It's getting ready. Just gotta wait for a few things to show up in the mail. A harmonic balancer, damper, pulley. Bought that new. It's not the right one. As you can see, it's a lot narrower. Of course, I bought that well over a year ago, so I don't know. Got that offline. I don't know if that was either on my part or they sent me the wrong one. I don't know. Going to be going with a different valve cover. This one here is the original one to the block, not to the head. Someone tightened the bolts down too tight without the washers on there and cracked it in a few spots. So I'm going to get a different one to put on. This is just hanging there. It's not hooked up. Got the primer on. Just going to wait until I get the other balancer on. And got to set everything, set the valves, valve lash and all that. Get the bell housing on. And shoot some orange on there. And then we'll be ready to stick it in. I'm gonna run with some of my thermostat housings, whatever. I want to go back. This is the original one to the truck. This is the one to the block, the new block, new engine. This one has the temp sender there, so it's blocked off. And this head, both heads, the head from this block and then this head, which is not the original head to the block, has the sender in the head spot. Thinking about running both. I'm not, if that's going to work. I think it should. I don't see why it wouldn't work. What I want to do is run gauges, separate gauges in the truck, and then still try to run the idiot lights. So I'll probably put this one back, one or the other, this one in here, and then run a regular gauge, separate gauge. So I'm going to separate the top off of this one and swap it onto this one, because I don't need that. That's broken anyway. That was for the, I'm not sure actually what that is, but that's for the emissions junk. This one here's got a smaller hole, but it's plugged off. So I think I'll be running with this one. Though I probably could find a plug to put in that. So that's another possibility, I guess. This one's already plugged. This one is a little, looks like it's gotten a little squashed or something, so I'm not 100% sure about that one, but that's kind of the plan on that. Okay, well, we're back quite a while later, days later, weeks later. Tapped on it a little bit the other day. I think it's starting to come off, so let's try it out again here. There you go. Oh wow. Sheesh. Brake pads are gone. It's actually about down to the rivets. Yeah. Hard to tell, it's so rusty, but doesn't feel that good. Yeah, not much left on there. There's the rivet right there. Well, more parts I gotta buy. Well, now with this all off, the drum off now, just gotta pull everything, the brakes and everything off, and then pull the wheel cylinder, see if I can get that bleeder screw unstuck. At that point, I may as well disassemble it, or I don't know if it's leaking or not. It might be. Might as well just rebuild it. I don't know. I guess I'll figure that out once I get there. But main thing is to get that bleeder screw unstuck. So that's it for now on this. Just till I get it taken apart anyway. Oh, okay, so we ended up not using the other wheel cylinder. It ended up being more pitted inside than I wanted it to be. Maybe might have worked, but I just decided it was best just to get a new one. So got a new one. It's on there. Got new brake pads on. Reused all the old hardware. All that on there. Have the drum sort of cleaned up. It probably should be turned, but we're just gonna run with it for now. Still gotta do pads on the other side, but I'm gonna probably look at the get that new master cylinder installed in the truck next, and then go from there. Well, we got it here in the master cylinder here in the vise here. It's got some brake fluid in it. Try to see if we can gravity bleed it a little bit. I don't really see nothing yet though, so it just came with the little plug ones you stick in there and pump it or whatever to bleed it. Somewhere around here I have the hoses, but I'll probably just do this with the plugs. It should work good enough. So also was going to mention it came with these two new push rods. Thinking it's the shorter one I use, but I'm not sure if I'm going to change it out. But I do need that little black clip at the end because the other one rusted off. So I know I need that, and I need the rubber boot. But I don't know if I want to go through the work of changing the rod out really. But I'll give that some thought. But we'll be back. Well, I did something just a little bit goofy. I decided to stick the rod in there just to test fit it. I didn't realize, well, that little clip snaps in there. So now the rod's stuck in there. Unless I yank it out, and I don't want to do that. I don't want to break anything really. So that was stupid, but thankfully I was playing around with the right rod, so instead of the too long one, so which I just ended up doing what I didn't want to have to do and took the one out of the truck, which ended up not being too bad. This was pretty rusty, whatever. So we're just gonna replace the whole thing. I guess we got our boot here that can go on. I'll put it on in a moment. Well, let's see what we can do. See if we can get that rod hooked up. I don't know what you're gonna see in here. Probably a whole lot of nothing. Okay, just before I put that on there, I want to put a little bit of grease on there. I hope this fits, because if it don't, I'm going to be very angry. Very angry. It doesn't appear like it's going to. Well, now that we've drilled the hole probably too big, but it'll only be fractional, I guess. That got frustrating real fast. I'm not sure I should tighten those up all the way, because I might need to move it around if I want to put the lines on. Well, that didn't go too well. I was trying to do a video showing you going back together, but that didn't work out. Would have, but there's a little clip that goes in there that I was trying to shove it in. Of course, it popped out and flew out somewhere underneath the truck through the open hump mount there. So, I just shoved a cotter pin in it for now, kind of barely bent it. If I can find a clip later, I'm not in the mood for looking for something right now. I'm not one to go spending all day just to find one little part. Okay, let's hopefully snug this up for the last time. Well, actually, we're going to do the lines next. Let's see if we can do this without making a super huge mess, which I'm sure we're going to do. There's quite a bit of movement actually. Forgot we're on the springy line, wound coil liner, so. Actually, the line's got the way you put this on. Find out. Well, it's kind of secure for now. See how much it leaks, and I don't know if I'm gonna have enough brake fluid to fill the lines, but to get all the way down to the back to the wheel cylinders. But I guess we'll find out. Well, so we started bleeding it on the other side. It's trying to do a little bit of something, but it's still got a ton of air in the lines. Kind of kept trying to bleed it on the right rear there, but we're over here on the left rear now. And broke the bleeder screw off. So I'm actually surprised it didn't strip out, but I had a socket on there with a 3/8 drive breaker bar, only about a foot long. And I snapped it right off, so it's okay. Of course, these brake pads need to be all changed anyway, so that was all going to come apart. Whether or not, so just gotta hopefully see. Hopefully the brake line will come free okay from that wheel cylinder. Maybe try to extract the screw if possible. I don't know. Otherwise, we'll just be going with another wheel cylinder. So that's where we're at with that, and then gotta do the front too. And the engine here is kind of half covered. I was just touching up some paint down there. I put the thermostat housing on. When I taped off the head when I painted it, I taped off too large of an area. But paint. I didn't put primer there, so the paint's not sticking too well. But it'll be okay. It's not that noticeable. And yeah, still waiting for valve cover. I got to figure out my exhaust manifold, or my manifold issue, because I have the aftermarket exhaust manifold that well, you can't really see it, but it has no heat riser in it. This thing's got a cruddy casting, and it's just awful. I may have to take a grinding wheel and try to smooth that out a little bit. Even the ports look kind of closed in a little bit, but it is what it is. Price you pay for it, you don't get very much. But so, trying to decide. Of course, the heat riser is a debatable topic for any automotive in the automotive world. With these, if anyone's familiar with these, they know that it can be pretty debatable. So, you either run them wide open, or you run them, or you have to have them, or it's not necessary. You'll never get to the end of that. It's just difficult because it didn't come with one. You pay $200 for exhaust manifold. Remanufactured, I know, but it should have had that heat riser in there. But it is what it is. I could have went with headers, paid another couple hundred more. Well, it's winter time now. It's been quite a while since I've done much on the truck. I went through a whole ordeal with the clutch and the flywheel, and I will get into that probably another video. Basically put the transmission, clutch, and everything in, had the engine in, and had to tear it all apart. Well, the engine stayed in the truck, but the clutch and transmission had to come back out. So anyway, here is our exhaust manifold. We're trying to get back to work on this here. You can see how cruddy the casting is in there. This isn't a performance build engine, so I don't know what difference it's going to make, but I just thought, why not just take the Dremel and smooth it out? So that's what I was doing. Smoothing it. Obviously, I can't get inside really to do anything worth anything, but maybe it'll help with flow a little bit. I kind of doubt it, but it is what it is. We're going to run with this manifold for right now. It's like I think I said before earlier on in the video, you'll never get to the end of the debate about whether you run a heat riser or don't, or you get. Basically, it comes down to the conclusion they had one in there for a reason, and you really want one that functions correctly. Really how the factory had it from factory. But really, right or wrong, leaving it wide open or leaving it closed is just debatable. And the arguments on forums and things online go on and on forever. So, since you'll never reach the bottom of that issue, I just decide, well, it's one of those things where, you know what, it's one of those things where you just got to try it for yourself and find out for yourself if it works or not. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to leave it wide open. I don't get this, why it's quite like that, but I'm going to grind a little bit on it anyway. To me, that's not right. But $200 manifold that, you can't get anywhere else. So what do? Unless I could find a used one, but junkyards, there's not too many local ones around anymore, and I'd have to drive a little ways. And even then, these days, finding an old manifold on one of these old 6-cylinders is pretty obscure these days. So around here anyway. Seems like other parts of the world, there's people still pulling and junking these straight 6 motors and just hauling them straight to the dump. But around here, they've already been junked years ago, and there's none left. So pretty much. So we have to work with what we've got here. So anyway, we're going to get back to work on this, grind this out a little bit, and we'll show you when we come back. Okay, we touched it up a little bit with the Dremel. That's good as it's going to get. It's pretty pathetic, the whole thing back in here. You can't see it, but there's even a little ridge sticking up. Just like a real thin little ridge sticking up, and I got it down as low as I could get it. Couldn't get the Dremel down in there far enough to really get it out how I wanted, but this whole thing is just kind of I don't know what to say. Just going to put it on there anyway and run with it. We'll see how it runs. It should be fine, but I may eventually upgrade to either a factory manifold or do headers or something in the future. But for right now, I just want to get the truck running and driving, get the engine broken, make sure it's going to all break in and run right and all that. So anyway, that's knocked out. We just got to get the intake manifold. Well, I got to find bolts to connect the two together. I've got new studs and the little spacer bridge clamps, not spacers, bridge clamps, I think is what they're called, to mount the manifolds to the engine block. But I have to find, let's see, what is it, 3 bolts? Yeah, 3 bolts. 3 bolts that secure the manifolds together, so gotta find those, see if I can find some in this place. If not, I'll have to buy some, but I think I've got some around. Just gotta poke around and dig through stuff and see what we can find here. So anyway, that's the situation there. Well, we're out here working on the truck. As you can see, finally got the intake and exhaust manifolds on. They're all bolted down on the engine block. So it's a little bit of progress. We're trying to get back on this as much as we can here, and been having troubles with my other truck, and I don't know what's wrong with it. Can't seem to sort that out. So really would like to get this up and going so I have another vehicle to back me up if that one dies on me, which it's probably going to do soon. So but it's starting to look a little more like an engine again. So in fact it does. Just about got everything on there other than carburetor, pulley and fan belt blade and distributor. I still gotta, and the alternator. I gotta put the bracket on for the alternator. Sort out which one I'm gonna use. Only little thing I gotta do, figure. I still gotta find. Still either gotta get a valve cover or attempt to fix this one or something. I still haven't got my other valve cover I ordered yet. So, and we're just a few months away from it being a year since I ordered it, so that's kind of ridiculous. But I'm going to give it a few more days I think I seen an expected shipping date on it on the website, which is like a couple days from today. So I'm just gonna wait those few more days, and if nothing happens, then I'm just gonna say heck with it and either order a different one or cancel it and buy a factory one. I don't know. Sort that out. But anyway, manifold's on. Okay, next thing I gotta do is of course I have a carburetor. I have a few carburetors I can choose from. Of course, need to be rebuilt. Um, Figuring out how I'm going to route my PCV setup is going to be the next thing, but that's also going to be determined by what kind of valve cover I end up getting. So that's kind of on hold. This particular manifold is a slightly newer one where it's got a vacuum port there, a ported, well, it'll be from the manifold, a vacuum plug there and there. I think that's ported, yeah. No. This is manifold. Manifold vacuum port there and there. So this is a newer intake that has the second one here. Not exactly sure what was going on here. If one was for PCV, one's for vacuum power brake boosters. Obviously, I'm not running a power booster on this truck, so I guess I'm free to use either one. That's kind of wait and see, I suppose. Okay, next thing. This isn't obvious already. So obviously this truck is cable driven, throttle instead of mechanical linkage. So I got to come up with something for that to adapt it. I do have a piece here, which goes on, well, one way or another here. Maybe down here or something like that. I have to see if that's even going to work. I'm hoping I can reuse this because this came off of the original manifold, which would have been the integral manifold. So it's a whole different setup. Of course, on the integral manifold, there was a big, bracket that would have mounted over here, and then this would have snapped into. But I'm hoping I can reuse this at the very least. I'm not worried about that because I can build a bracket for that. That's not an issue. Not that this is a big issue either, but I'll either have to fabricate something or hopefully, like I said, make this work. So I'm going to head and end the video there. This video has gotten to be a little longer than I wanted it to be total. And I'm now filming this in 2024, January 31st of January 2024. The first part of this video was filmed way back in like late spring of 2023. So kind of a lot of time has passed. But we're getting back on this again and trying to move along here and get this thing up and running. So more to come. So catch you later.